Mm.
Hey everybody, so welcome to Southern Mosspitality. This is a candid conversation between two siblings about the Black millennial experience in America.
You gotta put some more in it, man.
More
Yeah. Yo, what's
Okay.
going on, man? Yo, welcome to
You
Southern
know it.
Hospitality. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah, you talking like you. This is a damn TED talk.
That's what I thought it was. No, I'm kidding. All right, 1, 2, 3. Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Gabby Moss with my brother Landon Moss. We are Southern Mosspitality. It is a candid conversation between two siblings about the Black millennial experience in America.
Ooh, that thing gonna be nice too. That thing. So who are you, by the way? Or did you already say that?
I mean, I said I was Lauren, or I might have said Gabby. Well, I go
Mm.
by it depends on who I am. But I'm Gabby Moss. I'm a 26-year-old millennial here in America. I was born in Alaska. Most of what I can tell you can be found on the internet, so Google me.
Okay, so I am Landon Moss, the younger brother of Gabby. I'm 25, a millennial, social media influencer turned social activist.
I know that's right.
Honestly, though, man, I think that to me is so much more rewarding than like the social media stuff. Just want to put that out there. And yeah, so we started this podcast because I was doing this little show on Instagram Live, and the dude I was supposed to have was having some technical difficulties. And so I was like, oh, I know the perfect guest. Let me hit up my sister. So Laura came in. We had a real dope conversation. And people ended up like, yo, this was so good. Like, yo, y'all should do it again. And we were like, hey, let's do it again. So we here.
Well, actually, I want to give that credit to you. Actually, Landon was like, shit, let's do it again. I mean, they really liked it. And I was like, fuck, all right,
I
cool.
mean, but at the end of the day, you still came on, you know what I'm saying, agreed to do it. So,
you know.
yeah.
Basically, this is what this show is about. Is me and my brother have conversations all the time about our experiences, and after sharing it on Instagram and seeing the feedback and seeing that there were people that shared those same experiences and wanted to dive more into those topics and those conversations, we decided like let's do this.
Yo, can I just say one thing? I think it's so crazy to me how you can say something like, as a black person, people will be like, yo, I feel that. Like, so I'm in an acting class, and there's like this other black dude in there, and I had shared something with the class about how like I walk into a store, and when I walk out empty handed, I feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody, like, they kind of like laughed, like, oh, no, like, I don't know if that, like, nobody understood it. And then he personally messaged me. He was like, bro, I know exactly what you mean. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, thank you. Thank you. He knows, he gets it. This guy gets it.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing when whenever I'm working somewhere and say it's predominantly white. Whenever there's a black woman there, I almost always immediately connect with her because I know if you're in a similar position as me, we've probably gone through the same stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't. There's certain things you don't even have to say; they just get.
Mm-hmm.
It was like somebody will do something in the office and you'll look at each other like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna say one last thing, and then we're gonna get into
okay,
it.
all right, all
So
right.
when me and Cody, Mike's girlfriend, were in Thailand, we were walking and we saw this black couple, and we like looked over, they looked at us, and we spent like the rest of the day together. Literally. Like we just connected, and it's crazy that you
Yeah,
can look at someone and like we get
just
each other.
know.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it's like universal. Like even when I
Yeah.
went to the Bahamas, it was like, oh, this family. This
Yeah.
this like somebody that he was actually a native actually said that to me. Like, we're
Yeah.
family. We're not strangers. I was
That's
like,
dope. That's dope.
okay.
That's dope. Well, we gonna
Little
go ahead and
tangent. Little tangent.
slide this thing into the first segment, which is the trending topic, which, as you know, or as everybody knows, which has been in the news. Mom is literally calling me right now. Hold on one second.
Wow.
Hey, Mom, me and Lauren are actually doing our podcast right now.
Hey mama.
I'll call you back. All right. She knows she don't never call me.
And I was like of all the times.
No, so as you all know, what's been trending has been Will and Jada and that whole entanglement with August. What is your opinion on that? What you think?
Uh, so I try to stay away now from meddling into people's personal lives because I feel like none of that is really our business. But I also think there's a lot of takeaways that we can get from this situation and incorporate in our own lives.
Mm,
Like we can learn from what happened in that situation and utilize that in our own lives. And one of the things that we had talked about earlier was taking accountability
Mm.
for the things that you've done. Like, I get it. She spoke a lot on healing, and there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. And I was broken, and that's why I went to this. And I get that. Like, nobody's shaming her for that. At the same time, I mean, well, yeah,
Social media is
there's
shame, but
social media is shaming her,
yeah.
but I'm not shaming her for that. But what I wish I would have seen during their conversation is her actively take accountability for the pain that she not only caused Will and the
Mhm.
family and August Alsina, but like that
Alcina.
pain. Yeah, oh yeah, Alsina. I always mess it up. I always
August
mess it up.
Allegra.
Yeah, but when you watch the Red Table Talk, it's like she kind of skirts around it a lot and never really says like, I did this, I apologize, it was a mistake,
Mm.
and this is how we're gonna move forward. I
Yeah.
think anytime like there's conflict, in order to heal, there has to be accountability.
Mm.
You have to call a spade a spade. Because if we brush past it, most of the time there's going to be some resentment still lingering because you
Mm.
never apologize. That's how people feel, like you never apologize.
Right. And I think,
How do
man,
you feel?
I don't know. It's weird. Like looking at Will. I mean, oh man,
Hurt.
it's
Hurt.
just so it hurt me to see him hurt.
He was
But the
hurt.
thing, and I think this is something that this happened. I don't even know when it happened. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like this wasn't recent.
No,
You know
they
what I
said
mean?
this
Like
was like years ago.
you're right, right. And I think the thing that kind of annoyed me was the fact that they felt like they had to come out. And I'm not saying it's their fault.
Yeah.
Like they had to come out because of all these different things. This is one thing that I don't like about social media. Is
Yeah.
like people are saying all these different things, all these different narratives. Will said this, Jada did this, and it's like now they have to come out and talk about it. And I think
Yeah.
by doing that, like it might have opened up a wound that they had moved on past. You know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's what we saw when we were watching Will, and he was on this pursuit of happiness shit. Like he wasn't clapping in, but like, man, I don't know. It felt like something was there, but even though it was there, Will would never admit it.
Hmm.
I could also be wrong, but personally, I don't know. I just don't take him to be like the person that would ever out his family, his friends, or especially not his
Yeah.
wife. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So even if she was in the wrong, he would never come out and publicly say that.
Yeah, yeah. I think I recall him actually like an interview that he had done, and he had said that they had kind of gotten into a bit of like a dispute. Basically, she had cursed at him in front of people, and he had taken her to the side and was like, "Listen, I can't operate like that. Like not in front of people. We do this behind closed doors."
Mm.
So I feel like along with what you were saying, if there was something more to it, he's not. They're only going to give us the bare minimum. They're not. We're not going to get the whole thing,
Right. Right.
which is what it felt like. Is watching it was like there seems to still be a lot of pain around this,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It was a weird thing. The whole thing was just weird. And then, oh my God, all we see everywhere on Twitter, social media,
Entanglement
Instagram,
with August.
entanglement. I mean, I made a video to it, but like, oh, bro, it's so crazy. I'm so like you said, you tired of the word entanglement. I think that shit is so funny. They trying to say she's like the equivalent. She's the woman version of Future.
No, I wouldn't go that
I
far.
said,
I
y'all
wouldn't go that
stretching it.
far.
They
I wouldn't go
stretching
that
it.
far. No. Sometimes social media takes stuff a little too far. I wouldn't go that far.
Sometimes, I mean, most of the time, that's the problem with social media is that. So I think we gonna go ahead and transition past that stuff because, like you said,
Okay.
that's their business. So we gonna let them handle that, and we gonna handle this what we can handle. Our next segment is called "What I Learned This Week," and basically we just talk about things that we learned over this week because you should always be wanting to learn and educate yourself more. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, I mean, it can be whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, what's one thing that you learned this week?
Ooh, God, what can I narrow it down to? Okay, I knew I was gonna say one, but I think this one is more important. One thing that I learned this week is just how powerful that internal voice in our head is.
Mm.
So this past maybe like these past 2 weeks, I've really been stepping out and putting out more content, being more vulnerable, like sharing more of what I normally keep to myself.
Mm.
And in doing so, it triggers this, and I didn't even realize it, but it triggers this like these limiting beliefs that I've always had about myself, and it makes it harder. So, for example, whenever I start writing my blog, because I have a blog, whenever I start writing a post, there's always this voice in the back of my head that's like, nobody's gonna listen to this. Like this isn't good. Who do you think you are?
Yo, where do you think that shit comes from?
It comes from I think it's external. And I do talk about it. It's one of the posts that I'm actually writing right now is, it's the title is it's not you, it's the voice in your head. Because there's so many things that we want to do and that we're passionate about, but there's this voice in our head that we're not even always conscious of it. That's telling us like, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? You're not worth anything. You're insignificant. That's not your real voice. That's the voices from other people that have influenced you throughout your life.
Mm.
And it's people that we've respected. And sometimes it's not even people. Sometimes it's media.
Mm.
It's just these messages that we get from the time we're born up until whenever that tell us we're not worthy. And I've heard it from all different channels, but we're not conscious that it's there.
Right.
And so what I think a lot of times, like I realize whenever I start feeling down, whenever I start sinking, because I've struggled with like depression and anxiety, whenever I start sinking into that, it's because that voice is active. Something has triggered it, right? And once I become aware of it, then I can catch it in its tracks. So when I start writing, I start hearing like, who do you think you are? This isn't important. Nobody's going to listen to this. And I could counter it with something more positive. And I think that's the way through. So that's something that I learned is that I haven't shared who I am because I'm afraid, because this voice tells me that I'm not good enough. But that voice is not accurate.
Do you feel like through pushing past it, you were saying like with positivity and stuff like that, do you feel like it's been able to help you, I guess, push past that?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's just positivity. I think it's more like self-compassion and can you hear me? Because I stepped back.
Mm-hmm.
Self-compassion and reframing it. So we have these thoughts, and the reasons why we have them, the reasons why people told us these things is because they thought they were protecting us from something, right? So to understand that this voice is not here to make my life a living hell. This voice is here to try to protect me from things that other people have perceived to be dangerous. Then I can acknowledge it for what it is. This is just my mind trying to protect me from danger. Listen, me expressing myself is not dangerous. Honestly, me expressing myself is what allows me to open up, allows me to cultivate deeper connections with people, which is what I truly desire, which is what is necessary for a happy, fulfilling life. So I understand what you're trying to do. I understand you're trying to protect me, but I don't need protection in this, right? I can do this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that shit. I
So
don't know how you.
It's you don't know what.
No, I was gonna say I don't know how you do it. But go. What was you saying? What you were saying? My fault.
It's self. As soon as you feel, and you always know it too. As soon as you feel that click or you start feeling like, what am I doing? That's when you listen. All right, what am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I thinking? What are my immediate thoughts? And then trace it back. All right, this is what I'm thinking. Where's the first time I heard that? This was the moment I heard that. How'd that make me feel? What was that person trying to protect me from? Is this a similar situation? Is there any danger? No. It's just taking it step by step, tracing it back, and then realizing there's no danger. Because our minds don't feel, they don't hear, it doesn't see, none of that. What our minds do is make a best guess at whatever the information is coming in. So if I feel this, my mind can't feel these, these plants, but it thinks that it's feeling a plant because in the past when I've done this, it was a plant. Somebody taught me this was you get what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. Our minds, they can't experience anything. It's just guessing. And once you realize that your mind is just guessing, then you can acknowledge it for what it is. This is just a guess based on information that wasn't accurate.
Bro, that shit is so hard to like. Oh my god, like I think that was one of the things. That's okay. Two things. One, that's like why I don't really be on social media like that is because, and I say like I don't like social media, but I do like social media. But it's like because like to me it's getting better now. But it was like, what was the point? You know what I mean? I'm posting this stuff, nobody's seeing it. Like, and so my mind is telling me like, if you post it again, nigga, nobody gonna see that shit.
Yeah.
Don't post that shit. You gonna waste your time, brother. And I'd be like, you right. Let me get on 2K. That shit has been eating at me, man. And it was the same thing with like when I was acting and stuff like that. Well, like last year when I first started really getting all these auditions, I was getting these big time auditions, like a Wu-Tang joint, like a Suit spinoff, all these lead co-starring roles. Fail, 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 fail. You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, it was like, dude, you are not an actor. Go make someone fucking laugh. Like, and I'm like, but
Yes.
I want to act. And it was like,
Yes.
no, you don't. And then,
Yes.
cut all that stuff off. And then now I'm
Yes.
like, I want to act. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy too how like your mindset can completely change. Like now I'm like,
Yes.
I can be an actor. I'm going
You
to be
can
an
do
actor.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
crazy how like just pushing past that voice in your head will make you realize a whole new world of
Yes.
possibilities.
Yes, exactly.
So
That's perfect. That's really it. I mean, that's the reason why like you'll see these people that they get to these crazy levels of success and then they just sabotage it because their mind tells them they're not worthy.
mm,
And for Black people, we have been told for centuries
right.
that our lives are not worthy. We're not significant. Our voices don't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's one thing, and I think Black people struggle with a lot because we have heard it from everyone, family, friends, media, anywhere we go. There's an example of where people have shown us that we're not, our lives aren't important,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's understanding where that voice comes from and knowing that it's not yours. Because once you get quiet and you quiet that voice, the real you comes up. And I think that's what, like, when we feel connected in our work, that's our true self that's coming up and
Yeah.
coming out. And that's what people connect to. Like when people hear you and, oh man, that really resonated with me, it's their truth resonating with yours.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
I heard dropping bars, bro. Hold
You know
on, man. Hold on, Lord.
I'm sweating that young and high. The water.
Man,
Where's the water for real?
and this is another. It's kind of off subject too. I was thinking about like, man, just media. Because I saw this one thing that people are like, defund Hollywood, and instantly I was like, what? Why? Why would you do that? Like I was all defensive and shit. Like, don't do that. No, it's like cinema. Like, why would you? And then I thought about a lot of the stereotypes Hollywood has portrayed and how influential they've been in how we think about certain marginalized and just groups in general.
Yes.
Like I think
yes.
about like Muslims, for example. Like one of my best friends, he's Muslim, Omar. And so I think about like how Muslim people have always been depicted. I mean, damn near always.
Yes.
In film and television. Like he was telling me, like he didn't want to go to like to these damn auditions where it's like bomber or like you know what I mean,
Terrorists.
like terrorists, like
Yeah.
like. And then that's why I love the show Rami that just came out. Like, and he actually he was supposed to be on it. I think something happened, but like it's so dope to like to see that these voices can say so much more than what people have been saying. You know what I'm saying? And I hate
Yes.
I this is a pet peeve of mine. I hate when you got like a Black show written by white people. You know what I'm saying? Like because
You
then
can
you
tell
start
when it's written by white people.
you start getting like how people will be like like the girl that painted a black fist on her face, or like one painted half her face black, and it was like, we stand in solidarity. Like I'm like, okay, well
What
you
are
ain't
you
got you ain't got no
doing?
black friends because ain't no
they
way
would have told you.
yeah, like that shit is not the don't do that shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of the same thing with like how
Yeah.
people right. I mean, that's how Jim Crow. Oh my God, Laura. I was looking up this. I was watching this documentary about like Jim Crow and like how they used to have like black people with the big lips and like the watermelon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like it was basically like random shit that they said like black people like because they were like thinking that no, they didn't know black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, oh my God, that just I'm sorry, I'm getting pissed off thinking about that. But yeah, I think that yeah, Hollywood has for years, and I think it's starting to change now. It hasn't uplifted voices
no choice.
of color. You know what I'm saying? Then and when you do, that's when you get shows like Atlanta and shows like Insecure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like shows that people are like, oh, this is a really good show. Like I'm not even black and I like it.
Right. Because black people do more than just do drugs and shoot each other.
Right.
Like, what?
Right.
Like that is one small segment.
Mhm.
And that's what people choose to focus on. And then they believe that that's all. That's all of of black.
Yeah.
Like no, there's so many different experiences within the black experience.
Yeah.
And that's the important part of amplifying black voices, is that there's more to us than just what you think you see.
Yeah, and which brings me into what I learned this week, and that is that black people got to be perfect. Um, fuck.
I'm just gonna just interject right quick and say I like how you transitioned into
Yeah,
that. That
at
was
transition,
yeah.
then I messed it all up.
No, it's fine. I got you. You were saying how black people got to be perfect,
And you
and
know what?
or
That's it. It's just that black people got to be perfect because as soon as you're not, you're discredited. Not just you, but black people in general.
yes,
Because like I've seen a couple different things on like social media of like a black person doing some dumb shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, that shit is so dumb. Like, why would you even do that?
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, all the comments are like, see, this is why you can't trust black people. Y'all talking about Black Lives Matter, clown emoji, clown emoji. I'm like, dude, you literally have to be perfect, which is so fucked up that is the stigma. Like, oh, we do one thing wrong, and all of a sudden it's like, see, I told y'all, man, they not
them
even
black
worthy.
folk.
Them black
Mm-hmm.
folk, you can't trust them.
Yeah, yeah.
And we gotta destigmatize that because that shit is so messed up. And then the second thing that I learned is that history is bullshit. I was watching this video
Say that.
and I forgot which states. I think it was like it might have been like Montana and I can't remember. But there was a couple states in the history books the word slavery wasn't mentioned one time. Then there were a couple other books. I think it was like a couple other. I think it might have been like 13 states where it said that the Confederate Civil War was fought over states' rights. And this is a thing that people like to do. They like to manipulate history.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they tell it what it was. They was fighting over the right to own slaves. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. But people try to like adjust shit so it's like, oh, this is more digestible and like, yeah. And then I
It's
also
not as uncomfortable.
right, like we gotta have these uncomfortable talks. And then last week when I talked to Marquise, great dude by the way, Marquise DB man, make sure y'all check him out.
Really good
This dude
information, really good content, knows his stuff.
amazing. He created 60 different ways how we got from slavery to George Floyd and how like all these different events are interconnected. Like it's so good, so good. His podcast too called Our Black Story. It's really good. I'll tag it, whatever. But he was saying that in school we don't teach history, we teach patriotism.
Yeah.
And that shit was like, damn, you all right? And then I started looking stuff up, and it was like, just look at the names of our history books compared to the other subjects. Like the
Mm-hmm.
names were like the uprise of America, and it was like, you know what I mean, the great American country. And then the chemistry books is like chemistry, laws of physics, and it's like they wouldn't call it the rise of the molecule. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody reading that shit? But that type of stuff, I don't know. That's the type of stuff that allows stuff like systemic racism to continue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just
Because
not having the full truth.
right, and you like, oh, this is great. Like, and another thing that they were saying in this book I've been reading, everything that's wrong with like everything that I forgot the damn title. I'll fucking figure that shit out. But he was saying, why am I going blank right now? What I was just saying.
Oh, you were talking about a book that you had read. You forgot the title, but they were saying
Man, I've been going blank a lot lately, bro. I don't know if I need to sleep more.
it's probably a combination of sleep, stress, frustration, anxiety,
God,
depression, all of that.
yo, it's so much shit. Hey, I just thought about this too. I didn't even tell you about this. Um, bro, I people be asking me like, yo, how you been? I'll be like, I think I'm good. Like that's all I say now. Cause you know what I mean? I used to be like, oh yeah, I'm good, and then that'd be ended. But like I really don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I start like I know that stuff is about I know I'm not like good. Like I know
Yeah.
something's wrong, but I don't know what. And it's because I think this is something a lot of black people do too, is suppress emotions, suppress feelings, which
Yes.
I know that I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, I don't know where that stems from. Like I don't know what the root of how I'm feeling comes from. But I know that I'm not like I know when I'm good. I know when I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like I'm like truly happy now.
Do you feel like metaphorically the rug has been pulled out from underneath you?
You know
Kind
what's
of like
crazy? I never
you're
knew what that shit meant.
basically like you've lost your footing. Like you're good one moment, you know who you are, everything makes sense, and all
Oh,
of a sudden,
a 1,000%.
okay.
A thousand
Yeah.
percent. Right. It is so it's not even this year. These last couple months have been just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you felt like that, but
Oh, yes. Yes.
like, what's been
Yeah.
like the most overwhelming thing for you, as far as these last couple months?
Oh, just really facing myself
Mm.
has been like the biggest thing. Say something right quick.
Yo, 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 yo,
Okay.
yo.
All right. I thought you had gone out.
Oh no.
Um, Facing myself, and then like with the how do I put this? Like just being black,
Yeah.
you know, facing like my own internal battles, but then also being even made even more aware of how my blackness is seen as a threat.
Mm.
And it's jarring because it's like, what can I do to change that?
Right.
And how soon do you see change? Because if it's a system, that means the whole system has to be destroyed and rebuilt.
Right.
That could take years, decades. I don't know if I would ever see that in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's that, the blackness, and then just my fear for my family. Like every day, I check your location probably 30 times a day.
Damn.
And I'm not even exaggerating. When you go out somewhere, I check it. When you don't answer the phone, I check it. Like I always check your location. Randy won't give me his location, so I can't check it.
Yo, do you got an iPhone? Or do you get an iPhone?
No, he don't have a problem. He can
I,
still do Live
man,
360.
he ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, he's not. I try to trick him. Randy's too smart for that. But I call him all the time. I call dad. I call mom. Like I honestly, I was thinking about the other day. I was like, I call you guys, and it almost makes you cry to think about it, to just make sure you're alive.
Damn.
Yeah. But I ain't gonna cry. Whew.
Damn.
But yeah,
man.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
It's crazy that people who aren't black don't think like that. You know what I mean?
They don't get that.
And it's crazy that's a burden that we got to carry. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's so much shit that it's. I think that's, for me, that's probably been like the most overwhelming thing is like you said, realizing how much my skin is looked at like a threat, and
Yeah.
realizing how it affects every single thing that I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's everything is affected by the color of your skin. Like, even stuff that, like, going to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Me needing help with my health. Like,
Yes.
it's it's it shit is overwhelming. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, and how much can we? I hate to be pessimistic, but sometimes I'm like that. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, because I start to look at like patterns. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like how it was for mom and dad, and how it was for grandma and them, and it's like they said the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it'll change and it'll get better, and then it gets better, and then you realize, is it getting better or is it just being redesigned?
Is it just an illusion?
You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
that's like the most frustrating thing. It seems like it's getting better, but like I just said, it could be an illusion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
I hate that. So I live with three white dudes, and man, it's so, all this stuff is just, it's weird. It makes me feel, and I hate that I like feel some type of way towards them. You know what I'm saying? And like they don't be doing that. You know, but it's just everything that's been going on. Just I look at everybody with a side eye now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Suspicious.
yeah, like, is this genuine? Are your
Yeah.
actions genuine? Do
Yes.
you genuinely care
Yes.
about me, or is it just because I'm a
Yes.
creative and you see something that you can get from me?
Yes. Yes. People don't realize that. And I've had, like, I told my boss, like, I don't trust white women.
Mm,
I don't. I've had more reasons not given more. I've been given more reasons not to trust white people than I have been given to trust them.
mm,
And then the ones that I have trusted oftentimes have just turned out to be like they were just using me.
mm,
So it's like I get it, white people, they want to be trusted, they wanted to be allies and all that, but it's like I got to see a lot more than talk.
right,
I had to see a lot more than just trust me. Like no, because I don't have that luxury to just trust people.
right,
Trusting the wrong person could
eh,
cause me my life.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That makes me think about when you were saying, talking about trust people. It just made me think about like the black squares, and people were like, "I stand in solidarity with my." No, you don't. Shut up.
No, you don't.
Uh,
Just tell me you don't give a fuck.
I
Just
do
tell me that.
like I would much rather prefer that. Like I believe I believe a good amount of people have their heart in a good place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um I'll go out on a limb. I think most people do. You know what I'm saying? Most people that posted that. But it's like there's so much more than just posting that. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
saying and not being like, hey, I'm here with you. Okay, so what have you been doing to be here with me? What have you been
Right.
doing to make sure that people like me aren't being killed or that we have the same opportunity that you have? What are you doing for that?
Yeah.
Outside of just telling me, I feel guilty. I'm so sorry for what you've been through. That's
I
cool. Me
don't.
too. I fucking hate that I've gone through this. Now, what are you doing to help me? Like, what's up? Like,
You're not telling me anything I don't know.
bro, the first couple weeks when this shit was going on, oh my god, I'm just calling to check on you. How you doing, man? Watch out, bro. Damn. Like that shit was so annoying. It
It was
was
like, contrary to popular belief, this is not the first time I've experienced
right,
racism.
right, right. My roommate said something too on the 4th of July. He was like, man, I think this has been the worst 4th of July I've ever had. And he's like, it's just crazy, like everything's been going on and all this, like it's just so much with blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
Man.
that's my life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
It's
what
nice
you
that you've only had the experience for a couple of months.
right, right. And it
Try years.
right. Try the entire time you've been here.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think this is random? Do you think that that it's like this in other places or just in America?
I think it's like this in other places.
Yeah.
Yeah. And me and Randy have been talking a lot. And he was saying, I mean, we know in London, there's a lot of it. He was talking about in Argentina. I don't know. Randy's like an encyclopedia,
Mm,
but he's talking about in Argentina, there really aren't any dark skinned Argentinians because, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but basically the government like had an initiative to eradicate dark skinned people and
mm,
even had hired like former Nazis to help them create, a system or a framework to do so. Fact
Jesus.
check that. Don't always just take exactly what you heard somebody say. Fact check it. But that is something that he was saying is that, the population of people that are of dark skinned Argentinians is significantly lower because of that. Because
Wow.
they intentionally. And I was like, what have black people done so bad?
That's what
Black
I be
people.
wondering. You know, and so me and Dixon talked about this, and it was because of how long ago people created this narrative that whiter skin was superior and that Africans were inferior. And it's like they used religion as well. You know what I'm saying? White God.
Weaponizing. Yeah.
Like, yeah. And so it gave people a reason to feel like black people were inferior. And so that just keeps piling on generation to generation. And then
Yeah.
it ends up being what it is now.
Also, too, I want to call back to something you said when we were talking about history and how they were whitewashing history.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Randy were talking about this, and this is something I've been trying to remind myself. So he was telling me about this slave who was actually, he was born into wealth in Africa. He was like a prince or something like that, who ended up being captured, came to the United States, was a slave. I don't know. I think he escaped, did something, but ended up in prison for escaping, right, or whatever.
Mm.
And because he was a prince, he's very educated, so he knew. He wrote Arabic. So when he was wherever he was, he would write what he saw in Arabic. And when he was in prison, he started writing on the walls.
Mm.
And once they realized, like, this black person can, like, they can write, somebody ended up buying him, and he basically he went on to write like all of these works about his life, not only when he was in Africa, but also as a slave, So he's the first, like, I have to find his name, but he's like the first Muslim African American. I'm probably getting that wrong, but because he wrote so much, we actually have like a firsthand account of what it was like in Africa.
Wow.
And it was nothing like what they said it was. It was nothing about them being uncivilized. He talked about having like marketplaces and people going to the marketplace to get goods and stuff. Like, it was very, very civilized.
Mm. I mean, I even heard. So, me and Marquise were talking about this. We're talking about, I think, Angola. I don't want to misquote it. I'm not gonna say it, but we was talking about life for Africans before America, before
Yeah.
they got the first 20 slaves came to Jamestown or whatever. And he was
Yeah.
saying that like, yeah, they had slaves, but he was saying like the slaves, if they worked, they would do their time. They could
Yeah.
even marry a daughter or something and marry into the family. Like
Yes.
it was a different. He said like here is like cattle herd slave.
It
Like
was cruel.
what? Yeah, it was terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
enslavement is bad, but that the American enslavement, Jesus,
Yeah, it
it's
was
like
cruel.
it's
So what I basically tying all of that together with the whitewashing and history and storytelling, that's why it's so important now. And this is why I tell you, like, to be able to tell stories is one of the most powerful things that you could do as a human, is to be able to tell stories. People learn through stories. People resonate with stories. Stories move people to act, to think, to do something, right? And if you have that power to create emotion, to create change, don't take it lightly.
yeah,
Like, there is a reason why you have the abilities that you do. And I would tell you till I'm blue in the face, like, you have a real gift in being able to tell stories with words, without words, through images, through videos, however. Like, that is a real gift. And I just think about, like, what if this man had never written on the walls? What if he had never kept writing his story? We would never know what it was like, to be an African before slavery, like what
right,
Africa was like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so continue to tell your story even when you don't think, because he could have easily not stopped when he was in prison.
yeah.
So continue to tell your story. Like, it's important.
Dude, I got the short film that we shot like 2 weeks ago. I have yet to edit
I'm
it.
so ready for
Man,
that.
I have yet to edit it because the voice in my head. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think yeah, I'm gonna do that as soon as we get done with this.
Tell your story, man. That's what I've been telling my, like, because Randy was the one that was telling me about it, and I was like, imagine if he would have not told his story.
Right.
I mean, he went on to create like books,
Yeah.
So
The type of stuff it makes me think like he had to show his value. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't be looked at just like a human being. He had to show, oh, this is a smart one. Like, why you got to be a smart one to be one? You know what I'm saying? He can't just be a human. Like I hate that shit. I had this talk with Stephen Weatherly. He plays for the Panthers. We were talking about like the compartmentalizing of black athletes because I think it's especially prevalent in sports and especially
Oh,
football.
heck
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? Like the thing.
Heck yes.
How does that how is that a thing? You know what I'm saying? And like,
Compartmentalization?
yeah,
Because it goes back to, and I watched this video with the whole post-traumatic slave syndrome. It goes back to white people had to dehumanize us in order to justify their actions. You know what I'm saying? So we couldn't be human for the things that they did to black people. They couldn't see us as human, because if they did, that guilt would be so great. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
And they're not lynching us now, but they are still, yeah, we're not like at the rate that actually I don't even want to say that. I'll say this:
a different form.
it has transformed,
Yeah,
but it is still at this it's still the same. We're not human,
right.
and they have to continue to dehumanize us in order to keep from facing the truth of their actions.
Yeah. I saw this one thing JJ Redick said, and at first I was like, "What?" But then I thought about it. I'm like, "Man, I don't know." He has said that he believes the reason there was such an uproar when LeBron had the decision in 2010 and when KD went to the Warriors was because of racism. And I was like, "What?" And then when he went to explain it, he was saying like these black men went against what the white man wanted them to do. And I hate to sound like a conspiracy brother, but it's like when he said that, I was like, damn, like that's a solid point. Like
Yeah.
I do believe it's so weird, man. Cause like I felt some type of way when KD went. And man, I don't know. I can see what he meant. But yeah, I don't know. It was what do you think on that? What's your take on that?
Don't have too much of an opinion because I didn't get real deep into that. But I feel like with athletes, go go where you want to go.
Mm.
Honestly, I mean, they will say so much about like loyalty and whatever, but those those teams will cut them in a
Mm.
heartbeat
Hella.
and not have any remorse for them.
At
So I
all.
get it. Like, you want to be loyal, but at the same time, you got to do what's best for you because best believe them teams are going to do what's best for them.
Yep. Like Dez, I was thinking about Dez Bryant when he was playing for the Cowboys. He was throwing up the eggs. He was catching them jump balls, doing his thing. Oh, they were loving Dez. And as soon as he had a couple drops, as soon as he was falling off, Dez, you got 2 more years in your contract. We gonna let you go, brother.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
damn.
Just like that.
And
Yeah.
he loves Dallas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he
Yeah.
was hurt. He was hurt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's a whole different topic, but yeah,
I mean, that's one we can get into in one of our next episodes.
yeah, I just
Our
hate how
upcoming episode.
people think that you got to stay loyal to a team that doesn't have to stay loyal to you. You cut someone and it's not a big deal, but if you demand a trade, oh, he's such and such. You know what? Just talking about that, yeah, I do see how that could be stemmed from racism. Like, I really could see that.
I mean, just think about it. Like, just the NFL to me is so like slaves, slave owners, auctions. NFL players, NFL team owners, the draft.
Hmm.
What's the difference?
Besides
them getting
they getting paid
besides them,
millions. Lord,
but
they
do you
getting
know
paid
how much?
millions.
But do you know how much their owners make?
Exactly. I just
And
that's the argument people always say. But they're
yeah,
millionaires.
but do you know how much their owners make? Do you know what they have to sacrifice for those millions? Their time, their health, their bodies, their families.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the millions are enough.
Man,
I don't think they are.
it's crazy the amount of revenue that they bring in.
Yeah.
Like, even though
Yeah.
they're getting paid a lot, it's like y'all deserve a lot more. Even thinking
Yeah.
about like the NCAA and like,
Don't get me started.
right, you saw something about like, oh, we gonna talk about something else. Actually, we gonna get started. So like it was funny. Shannon Sharp was talking about Zion Williamson because like all this stuff's coming out. He got paid like $400,000 to his stepdad to go to Duke and
Pennies.
everything. And Shannon Sharp was like, shit, I just can't believe he ain't asked for more. You know what I'm saying? Like, the amount of money that he brought Duke, like the minimum ticket for like the Duke UNC game, I think was like, it was a couple thousand.
$400,000 pennies to what that man was bringing in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pennies.
But people look at it, oh, well, we giving you a free education. Like, they giving you better be grateful. Like, what?
And that's one thing I'm gonna say COVID is really starting to shine light on.
What's that?
The value of education.
Mm.
And if what you're putting in, if you're getting the amount out that you're putting in.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we pay all this money to go to school for the opportunity, but not even really the opportunity, more like the chance to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the job's probably not going to be that much because you don't have an experience. So you're going to have to take less, but you still got to pay these student loans, which could be upwards to the 100,000s. So now you got to work a job that you don't like.
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like another way to get people in this bind where they have to do things. It's not really promising them as much as they put into it.
You better start an OnlyFans account. Shit.
Okay, listen.
Nah, but did you see? So do you know?
Get on OnlyFans and start doing workouts.
You said OnlyFans?
Yeah, I did.
What the hell are you talking about? Hey, do you know who Maker is?
No.
So he was the high school. He was like a 5-star recruit. He is like a 5-star recruit.
Oh, the one that signed with Howard.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that. I don't even think that he realizes how big of a
powerful
deal
that was.
Yes, that is major. That is major. And I think something just came out too recently that like it was like a 5-star running back. I think the class of 2021 or something.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going, but he put Howard in his top 7. You know what I mean? And then Mikey, who was like Mikey Williams, who was like, dude is disgusting. Like, he is actually one of the best high school players I've ever seen. He's insane.
Yeah.
Like, dude is nuts. But class of 2023, I think they say number 1, but I think he's actually like the number 3 player. But regardless, he's like one of the top players in the class of 2023. He's talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, I think I heard something. I could be wrong, but I could have sworn I heard something about his mom actually went to a HBCU. But
Which is good. That's good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he goes, whoo, man,
If black athletes knew how much
valuable.
power they have, like literally how we could flip to where HBCUs is on ESPN, like the first channel. Like it's
Not ESPN
insane.
9, ESPN Ocho. That's what Marquise said.
I know. I remember y'all conversation about that, but they are that powerful that like the first couple of years might be, got to get the resources and the infrastructure because HBCUs lack that
Mm-hmm.
because they've had to get it all on their own. But once those become in place, whoo,
Dude, can I just say, first off, one of my biggest regrets, and I think I've told you this before, is that I didn't go to Howard because they had me they number one on their board, like overall player. I was like, he's our guy. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember I went out there, they had a camp. I'm cooking everybody, yo. Come here off the line. He tried to jam me. Get off me. Ooh. One of the DBs from Howard, he's like walking by or something. I'm over there talking shit. Like, hey, yeah. He comes out there, lines up against me. I line up. Woo, 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 woo. Come here. Hink. Break down. Drop your hips. Get out the cut. Man, went dummy on one that went there. And I think that was the thing that like, not just how I played, but like that my mindset that I called him out. And he came
yeah,
out there. But like, they was telling me like, yo, you're our number one guy. And they like, I was listening, you know what I'm saying? I was like, cool, but in the back of my head, I knew
you
I
like, I
wasn't
ain't
going to
going
Howard.
here.
And it because I was thinking like this is an HBCU, they don't got, I'm not gonna have a
Yeah.
chance to go to the NFL, the chance to
Yeah.
get on TV and all this stuff. And I had the same chance there that I had at Coastal Carolina because both were D1 AA.
They
But
will
it was
find
just
you.
the stigma around an HBCU, and then also the resources. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I went to the gym and they had a fireplace in the damn weight room. I said, now y'all know y'all should have covered up the damn fireplace before we got here. But the thing is, like, they don't have the resources that these other
Right.
schools have. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think if you get players like Mikey Williams and players like Maker in these
Mhm.
schools, they
When
got
people
no
started
choice. But
coming,
yeah, you
the
start getting
funds start
eyes.
coming.
ESPN2 maybe starts getting there, and then by next year, ESPN. But
They're
man,
gonna come.
and I just wanted to say one more thing too about why I regret it so much is because when I went there, it was the Howard Hampton game. First off, the national anthem was fire as shit. They put something in the national anthem, but I said,
They put their foot in it.
yeah, I started rocking. I said, hold on, man, hey, this y'all kind of hard. But and just the experience of like at Coastal, the games were cool, but this was a whole different vibe.
It's
Like,
a different atmosphere. Oh, and then
yes,
everybody get up. The frats and the
oh
sororities, they
yep,
get up and
yep,
start
yep,
strolling.
yep. Like
They
that's
got a
an
DJ.
yeah. That's an experience that like
Yes.
you won't get anywhere else. And I
Yes.
really regret that I never got that. And
Yeah.
then also on top of that, I forgot who was talking about it, but someone was like, the teachers actually care for you to succeed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
because they want to see other black people succeed. I'm not saying that
Yes.
teachers at like PWIs don't, but like you're
There's
gonna
just
get that
more.
at Howard. You know what I'm
Right. There's
saying?
more to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
One of my teachers, I didn't step foot in her class until midterms.
damn.
I'd never seen her until midterms because all of our games were on the day that I had class, and I had class once a week. So I didn't see her until the season ended. So naturally, I had an F.
Damn.
And it was economics, so I struggled. And I told her what was going on, and she is touted as one of the toughest teachers at Savannah State. I think she's at Hampton now, but and she was like, listen, I'll let you make up some stuff, but I'm not gonna give you a just cause. Like you're gonna have to work for this. And I would be in her office damn near every minute I got asking for help, but she was there every step. She didn't just give me a grade. Like she made me work for it, but she still was there to support me if I needed help.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. Is like, listen, I get it, whatever, but I'm not gonna just give you a handout. Like you're gonna work for this, but I'm gonna help you the whole way through because I want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's one of the biggest things is like just not giving up on people and not giving up on black people because like we got a lot more that we got to get over. a
Yeah.
lot more hurdles that we have to cross to even be here.
Outside of education and sports, how was your experience at Savannah State?
Whew. Well, I had a really rough experience at Savannah State, actually. I didn't like it. It wasn't because necessarily of the school. I mean, they definitely had some things that, all schools are going to struggle with. I didn't do enough to get out and experience. Now, I did from time to time, and when I did, I loved it. But a lot of it was me stuck in my head, so I was stuck in the room a lot. But
What
the
were you?
experience,
My bad. What was like the thing that had you stuck in your head?
I was playing basketball, and it was the first time that I had been in a position where I was the best player, and I I wasn't liked. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody who is a people pleaser, and I'm well aware of it, that aided me a lot because I couldn't understand what I did. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like I'm the best player and I'm talking shit, and you know what I'm saying? I'm I'm encouraging everybody. I'm telling people, you know what I'm saying? Like so it was strange to me. Like what do I do? Like I remember calling dad. I was crying. It was like maybe like a month before our season ended, and I was like, I just need you to be here at the last game so I can quit after that. Like I don't want to play anymore.
Damn.
Yeah, it was just that bad because I didn't know how to deal with people not liking me. And more people struggle with that than you would think. But it was something that I struggled with, and it would just eat at me all the time. So it kept me from going out and actually meeting people and really enjoying my experience as much as I could have, because I think there was a lot that I could have experienced that I didn't.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah, yeah, it was tough.
Damn, man.
Yeah,
Wasn't like
but
that for me. Everybody loved me at Coastal. They love me, boy.
can't relate.
Damn. Damn, man.
I mean, and, looking back at it, like I don't have any ill will towards the players. Like I get it because I was actually in the position before. So like looking back at it, it was like, damn, if Karma ain't a bitch. Like I was that at one point.
What you mean?
Like hating somebody because they were the best player, like
Oh,
hating on
okay.
somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hating
they not that good. They shouldn't be shooting that much or what? You know what I'm saying?
Why ain't I used to be shot to this person?
Exactly. And then on top of that, I was hurt all the time.
I remember
Like
the teeth. Woo.
bro, I got my teeth knocked back, pulled my hamstring twice, high ankle sprain, low ankle sprain, an ankle sprain 3 times the whole season.
Jesus.
Like it was like every month I
You
was
need to
hurt.
sit your ass down somewhere and stretch.
Every month I was hurt. And it was so hard because for somebody that I lead through more so through like working hard, it's like, what the fuck can I do?
Sit your ass down and work hard in the training room.
And even that, like when I couldn't run, I swam every day so I would be in shape. And it was like I'm doing all of this.
Yeah.
Just trying, you know what I'm saying? So that and then people not liking me, I really struggle with that. So
Sheesh,
but
man.
it would have been a good experience without all that. I know that it would have because there was just so much to do, and then just being yourself. Like I didn't have to worry about my hair, making sure my hair looked a certain way. Like,
dude, I saw
African
this thing.
queen. What you mean?
I saw this one thing on Instagram, and it was crazy to me. I might have pulled it up real quick. It blew my mind how everybody could relate to this. Like, let me see. Oh my god, I saw so many people that I follow repost this same thing, and it was basically saying like 10 questions as a black person you ask before doing something. Oh my god, hold on, my phone moving slow as hell. It's crazy. Hopefully T-Mobile don't fail me now.
T-Mobile don't fail me now.
Okay, here it goes. Actually, no, it's not. It's gone.
Okay,
it's completely gone.
Damn,
bro, this shit was so good. It's basically 10 questions black people ask.
I know the hair one is one that comes up a lot. Is like, have you ever felt like you needed to change your appearance in order to fit in? Like I even resorted to blocking my LinkedIn so that only people that follow me, because a lot of times what recruiters would do is like Google your LinkedIn.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, one thing I want to call to also is I remember I used to have my picture on my resume, and I took it to my director, the director that was of the master's program, and I was just like asking for feedback on it, and he literally ripped it in half and was like, "Why is your picture on here?" And this is a white man now. This ain't a black man. This is a white man.
Did you feel some type of
And
way when he ripped it?
I was like, I worked hard on that. And he was like, "What? Why is your picture on here?" I was like, "So they can see my face. It makes it more personal." I was like, "I was reading this blog and it said put your picture on there." And he's like, "You're black." And I was like,
Damn.
"Okay." And he was like, "I used to work in places where they would throw black applicants' resumes away because they
Damn.
were black. Like they wouldn't even look at it." And he's like, "Don't put your picture on here." And like that has always stuck with me. Like when I with job search and stuff, I would purposely make my all of my things private so that people couldn't see who I was. And it's like you could my work ethic and my accolades, all of that, like let that speak for me. I didn't want my skin to speak for me.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
that's literally crazy to me. That you
Yeah.
will look past all these accolades. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, she's a great candidate," and then the picture
Oh,
comes in.
she's black.
Oh, she black. Oh shit! Hold on. Hey yo, we tripping. Hold on. Like, bro,
Disregard.
that's so. Hey, when you said that too, that made me think about. I don't know. Sometimes I feel some type of way, when like white people say stuff like, even like give me advice sometimes like that, and I feel some type of way.
Oh, I
Like,
did definitely.
yeah, it's so crazy like how we feel. Like there was one time I was in my acting class, and so one of my coaches, she's white, and I was up there and I just gave like a little shitty, you know what I'm saying? I was up there. I was still early, so I was kind of learning. And she just wasn't hitting me. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying stuff, but I wasn't really feeling it. And then she was like, "You gotta dig deep. Like, what's something that's like affecting you?" She was like, she was like, then she was like police brutality, like did that stuff affect you? Like, blah, blah, like that affects you, right? And I was like getting mad at her, like, why would you bring that up? Like, you know what I'm saying, heated. And then she's like, yeah, like exactly. Yeah, that affects you, right? And then I was like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I was like, yep, you're absolutely right. So you know what you're talking about. Cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just that moment made me think two things. One, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Great teacher. And then two, I said this earlier, how we suppress feelings. You know what I'm saying? When I said that, all these emotions just came up and I was getting choked up. I was angry. But if she hadn't brought that up, I would have just been like, I don't know
Yeah.
why. Like I just don't feel it. I just don't feel it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
oh man, like black people across the board do that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it's because we have seen so much traumatic shit throughout our lives.
Mm-hmm.
If we were to feel all of that,
Man.
I'm not sure we could function.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I remember talking to Randy and I was like crying and stuff because I was telling him like I was worried about my job and he was like, "Dude, you just got to suck it up and figure it out." Like you can't I told him I was like it's so hard to work and still like I'm affected by this stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm crying every hour
Yeah.
because just randomly because this stuff is so heavy. And he's
Yeah.
like, I get it, I understand it, but you have to figure out a way. Like you have to figure out a way to do it and get the job done. And it's like
That shit sucks, man.
that's something white people don't have to like. You don't. It's easy for you to turn your phone off and that's it. Like
Right.
it doesn't end for me.
Yeah.
You
We
know
don't
what
we
I'm
don't turn
saying?
that shit off.
It doesn't end.
We don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so it's tough for us because it's like, yeah, we do want to be in this. We do the fight, fight the good fight. But at the same time, it's like, it's tough.
And it's
It's
tiring.
tough.
Exhausting.
Yeah. Yes. And it's a battle that most people don't see and most people refuse to see.
Right.
Now they're starting to.
Yeah. But I just don't want it to be like, we saw it.
All right, that's it.
All right, we go back up and like we go like this
Good
is
job.
like it's so much more than seeing it. You know what I mean? We got to make sure that
Yeah.
people, and I hate that I feel like obligated to make sure that people don't forget it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is
Yeah.
still my experience that like
My
we
life still
need,
matters.
yes, and we need your help to make sure that that message doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to remind you that we matter. What? You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
talk about the absurdity of that.
Man, like we ain't asking for
But
nothing crazy.
it goes back to white people for centuries have
Dehumanized.
dehumanized black people.
Yep. So we haven't
Our lives
mattered.
have never mattered.
Right.
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 So I don't know if it's so much as reminding them as actually putting in front of them like this is probably what you've been taught, but this is the truth
They haven't mattered unless they've brought value to
to you.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
crazy. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like I gotta prove my worth as get the fuck
A
out of here.
human
Who
being.
who
Yeah.
who are you? Who you think you are? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's really hard I mean, it's really hard not to cross over into being a radical.
Oh my God. First, Lord, I'm not gonna lie to
Playing
you.
on the edge.
Ooh.
Not the
I got to watch some Malcolm X shit, and like he's not saying nothing that's like too radical. You know what I'm saying? But he's just saying like understand
truth.
your worth as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like by
Yeah.
any means necessary. Like,
Yes.
and I was like,
Yes.
I was ready to go to the gun range. I said, say less. Like, I'm gonna make sure y'all know what I like. Then I was like, okay, relax. But I do think that all black people should go to the gun range. We should all know how to shoot a gun, should we ever need it, and I think we should all get guns.
There is a guy actually that I went to Georgia State with. He just opened up a company not too long ago. It's called Brass Droppers, and it's basically about like gun control, gun safety, how to use your gun, clean your gun. Like it's very, very informative, very educational, and he just has a really good take on gun control.
Yeah,
like just understanding. You know what I'm saying? Rather than like being afraid of something, understanding it.
Yeah,
which I'm always a fan of that. So.
Yeah. I'm terrified of guns, though.
Me too, but that's because I don't know how to use them.
Right.
Yeah, I'm terrified to hold one. Like I don't know how to use it, but I think that eliminating that fear, or at least being able to move past that fear, is understanding.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. That whole thing is scary. What's one thing that you recently unlearned?
I thought we weren't doing the subject.
We wasn't, but it just came to my mind. I had to bring it up.
Well, that was, I mean, the one where I was.
Uh-oh, don't put you on the spot. You done got cold feet. Don't get cold feet over now.
You know I ain't being put on the spot.
Man, look.
Let's see. One thing. See, I can whip something out my ass.
You see about shit something out your ass. Watch out, bro.
Something that I've unlearned. Okay, all right. This is a good one. Me and Randy have been. Well, Randy can talk, but me and Randy have been talking a lot lately.
Randy's our brother, by the way. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, we keep referencing Randy. Randy's our older brother, and he was telling me about you should talk to him about his experience in high school and like just his experience in general growing up. It makes me sad, but one of the things we were talking about is like how he at one point was like really good at football, and basically he got bullied out of that because he was so good, and he never had the space to be afraid. And he was saying like, I ended up just saying like whatever to everything instead of acknowledging that fear. And I was like, well, that wasn't your fault. Like, who taught you that it's okay to be afraid? Nobody taught you that. And I told him, like, I remember, I will never forget when I was getting ready to quit one of my jobs. I was terrified. I rode around for an hour talking to him, role playing with him because I was terrified. And I was just like, I'm afraid. He's like, what's wrong? I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm scared to quit. And he was like, I'll never forget it. He was like, it's okay to be afraid. It's not about not being afraid. You're going to be afraid. What's most important is, what do you do when you're afraid? Because that is what determines who you are. And I was like, damn, Randy. He didn't remember the quote, but I did. Because I wrote that shit down. That shit was like life-changing. And I told him, like, in your experience, nobody told you that. Right. But if somebody had told you that it was okay to be afraid, I think things would have been different. If somebody said, I get it. People are literally coming for your neck. That's okay. It's okay if you're afraid. What can we do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's one thing that I'm unlearning is that I don't have to act like I'm not afraid.
Right.
I can be afraid and still move forward, still push past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yo, Randy be man, we gotta get Randy on here.
Randy be dropping gems,
He
but
really
he
do. It is
I heard tell you
narrowhead
when you
ass.
asked when you told me to come on, he was about to log off. He was
He thought I was gonna call him in. I should have done that too. That'd have been funny.
Yeah. So what's one thing you unlearned?
I would say my one thing that I have unlearned that it is that it's not okay to be vulnerable. I
Powerful.
Dude, I feel so much more. I don't want to say so comfortable, but I feel so much more comfortable being in a vulnerable space and being open about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Partially because of acting classes, but
Yeah.
I keep telling people I think everybody should take Meisner technique acting classes because it makes you. It is the craziest shit. Yo, it's actually insane how like it opens you up and you start to realize so many different things about yourself. Like I realize the things that I realize I start like doing like this little laughing weird shit when I like get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I realize like just these different defense mechanisms that I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like this is for me to become an actor. Like this is just therapy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But through my class, man, I have become understanding that it's okay to be vulnerable, and then also that I don't listen. You know, that's one of my problems. Like, and I think that we have this problem, especially as men. A lot of men have this problem. We don't listen. You know what I mean? Like, like this is gonna be another topic, but talking like let's say we're talking to women. You know what I'm saying? You're listening, but you're not really listening. You know what I'm saying? You're either like thinking about what you can say to rebuttal whatever she's saying, or like thinking about something completely different. And it just those two things made me realize so much that we have wrong as a society. And then also as black people, you know what I mean? We're not comfortable being vulnerable.
Yeah.
We get defensive a lot over like stuff that we probably shouldn't get defensive about.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think when we're able to get more comfortable in these vulnerable and navigate these vulnerable spaces, it'll open up so many other conversations so that we're able to heal properly. You know what I'm saying? So that we're not masking this
Yeah.
pain. We're not putting a band-aid on a broken bone.
Yep.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, oh no, we good. Yeah, I'm good. Because you
No,
don't
I'm
want to be
good. You good?
vulnerable.
You good? I'm good.
Like, nigga,
Yeah.
I'm not even mad. I'm cool. Like, matter of fact, I was playing 2K earlier with this dude. Just thought about this. We were playing 2K. I forgot what happened, but I said some joke, and then he got heated. I was like, "Yo, my boy!" Like I'd be on there talking shit sometimes, but it's
My
like
boy.
this one of the one times I wasn't talking shit, and he was heated, and I'm like, "Bro, why is you so mad?" He like, "Bro, I'm not mad. Like I'm not mad. Like y'all niggas think I'm mad. I'm not mad." And I'm like, "Yeah, you definitely mad." And then he was getting mad because I was saying that, but it was just funny to me. Boy, what I guess it wasn't really funny because I didn't think I was like it was a little weird, but how quickly he got defensive and like
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that. You know what I'm saying? I do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
In
I
real life,
think I think once you're able to like openly talk about that, then it's like you'll realize like, okay, maybe I shouldn't get defensive over someone making a joke on 2K.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think I think we have to be better at being vulnerable, and that's one thing that I have unlearned is that it's not okay to be vulnerable because it is.
It is. Yeah. And I also I think I want to call attention to that. I was reading this book, and it talks about how um pain and trauma, they all manifest as like triggers. And triggers are like, imagine you're walking around with all these like thorns in you, right? And somebody does something and accidentally touches a thorn, and then you have this reaction. That's what like triggers are, is somebody has touched a sore spot on you, and now you defend yourself. So when people like rush to defend themselves, most of the time you've hit a trigger. And this goes all the way back to our Instagram live when I was saying like me and my ex were arguing damn near every day, and majority of the stuff was my own shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a lot of Black people too. Is we have a lot of pain and trauma that we've internalized and we haven't dealt with, and we're walking around with all these thorns on us.
Mm.
And so anybody says or does anything, it triggers that thorn, and we automatically feel like we have to defend, we have to be defensive, we have to, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what it sounds like, is that you hit a thorn
Yeah.
that he hasn't dealt with. The only way to get rid of those thorns, you got to pull them out. You have to acknowledge that they're there.
Yeah.
And then you got to pull them out. Let the healing begin.
Nothing too. This man, I just thought about this. He was like, he was on some nut shit. But dude was like, he was like, man, I got way more money than you. I got more bitches than you. I'm like, what?
He brings in misogyny.
Okay. I was like, bro, what? And then somehow, one of the dudes I was playing with, one of my boys, Cover, he was like, I mean, was you verified or something? Because I hate people trying to like speak for me. But he was like, are you verified? He was like, yeah, I'm verified. I'm blue checked up, nigga. I was like, what's your Instagram? I went to it, and then he wasn't verified. And then he was like, nah, I was capping. Like after like he calmed down and everything, we was all there laughing, joking and stuff, listening to his music. But yeah, I'm just like, it's just crazy to be like, that's what he jumped to. But I get more bitches than you, and then he was like, yeah, I beat your ass in real life too. I was like, oh Lord, here we go.
Do you know where all that stems from?
Where?
Not believing that you're worthy. Yeah. I don't know what you said, but it's his reaction. Like, let me put all this stuff in front of you to show you why I'm worth something.
Yeah.
Blue check. Fucking random women. Like, this is what you draw your worth from. But that is what Black men have been taught to draw their worth from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds interesting. It's always funny to listen to you when you be talking mess on 2K.
Oh yeah.
I can always tell when you're on 2K.
But I be talking shit about what they doing on the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's a nut ass shot. What are you doing?
Yeah,
but then people want to bring in shit like, oh shit, I get more bitches. Like, bro, we talking about the game right now, bro. What are you talking about?
What?
I'm trying to figure out why you shooting 0 for 14 and you talking about who I'm having sex with. Like,
what? That was like that guy when I sent you those screenshots, and I was like, what are you doing?
Can you please talk about that?
Okay, all right. So, and I normally I don't even know what the thing was, because I try to stay away from certain things on the Explore page, because I know people are gonna come at my neck. I don't even know what I said. Oh, it was a video of a white guy who was telling like a Hispanic dude to stop pulling down Black Lives Matter signs, because the guy was like tearing the signs down off the fence, and the white guy was going hard.
Oh yeah,
so
get in your fucking car.
Yeah, he was going hard. So I left a comment. All I said was, "This is the type of energy I need allies to be on. Like, I need you to go that hard for me." And then he came and was like, you hate Black men and participating in the destruction of the Black male or something. So it was just so random. And at first I thought he accidentally added me, because I be doing that shit on Facebook sometimes because I don't know what I'm doing. So I thought he accidentally added me. So I'm like, I think you got the wrong ad, LOL, right? And he's like, why do you hate Black men? You're a feminist and all you feminists hate Black men. And I'm like, I'm sorry. What are you talking about? And he's like, well, you're a feminist. And I was like, well, where did you get that information from? And he's like, from your, I'm obviously condensing the conversation, but he's like, I said, where did you get that information from? And he's like, from your survey on your profile. My survey was asking people their sex toy preferences.
Man.
And I said, well, where did you get that I was a feminist? And he was like, because you were asking about all that gender information. Because I included gender neutral, binary, because I just want to be inclusive of everybody. And I was like, you got all of that from a survey?
Bro went through and took your survey. Hey.
I was like, I wanted to say, did you at least take it? I was like, listen, you know what? It looks like, and then he starts like, well, you should read this, and this. And I'm like, listen, it looks like you're very well read. Like, it looks like you're very educated from what you're telling me and what you're asking me to read. But I also invite you to consider is to ask better questions before you make assumptions about who people are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we could have saved this whole conversation if you had just asked me, a simple question instead of going on my profile on a survey and like, what?
I think this is gonna be another subject, but I just want to get this point out.
Okay.
The same thing, how we feel towards white people is, I'm pretty sure, how women feel towards men. I could be wrong, and I hate to like make that connection, but I think it's a similar thing. And watch me get canceled for this shit. It's a
Careful now.
I'm not saying like that racism. I'm just saying that
there's some similarities there.
Right, there's similarities in terms of like
oppression.
Right, women are the oppressed group compared to men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that the same way that some white people would try to discredit black people for like the radical shit that they see, men will try to discredit women for like the radical feminism, like the woman putting period blood on her face and shit like that. See, y'all feminists crazy. Like, no, relax, man. Feminism.
Yeah.
And I was thinking the same shit. I used to be like, yo, feminists, they all some nuts. You're like, y'all tripping. But then like the more I actually looked into it, the more I realized like y'all are asking for equal rights.
Yeah.
Like
to be seen as human.
Right, not dehumanized or objectified, which that'll be another conversation that we're gonna have.
It will be.
So,
it will be. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah, there definitely are a lot of similarities there. Definitely.
Yeah, hopefully that didn't get me canceled. Cool. So
keep speaking your truth.
I think we
man,
we
might have gone over an hour.
Let me see how long it's been.
Oh, we're at an hour and 16.
I got an hour and 18. You want to go ahead and wrap this one up?
You wrap it up.
Okay, cool.
That's what she said. No, I'm kidding.
All right, man. Well, thank y'all so much for joining up, man. This is the very first episode of Southern Mosspitality, featuring me, Landon Moss.
Me, Gabby Moss.
What are we doing with this shit? All right, man.
It actually means something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I gotta look it up, but it does mean something.
Oh. Okay. Well, we're gonna
something good.
Good. Good. And we gonna do that then. That's gonna be hopefully we don't like appropriate nobody's stuff. But cool. All right then, man. Thank y'all for joining up. We gonna be uploading. What you think? Like every Wednesday?
I think Wednesday is good. Every Wednesday, yeah. If there's topics that you are interested in talking about, discussing, send a DM to @LandonMoss or @Queen_America, and then we'll be sure to include those.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it, man. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna learn a lot of stuff, and we're gonna make sure that we show everybody a lot of Southern Mosspitality, baby. Yeah, you said it a little later than me, but all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining up, man.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for listening, and stay safe. Have a good day. Good night. Whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying. Shit. All right then. Bye.
Bye.